Welcome to the Happiness Matters podcast, where we'll explore happiness at work and show you how to coach yourself to be happier there and more successful too, no matter what.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Happiness Matters, where we're learning how to coach ourselves to happiness and success at work, in life, in midlife, no matter what. From my discussion with many of you through these last Q&A sessions, I'm seeing the need to readdress the topic of your past and how you're using it to shape your happiness and success now and into your future. So today I'm revisiting one of the early coaching tools in Series 1. We'll do a deep dive session into coaching yourself around your past. Then we can be sure you've got all the tools you need as we end off Series 1, defining, assessing, and visioning your happiness. If this is the first time you're joining us, just jump right in with me now. You won't be left behind, and you can always go back and listen to earlier episodes. We're living through extraordinary times in the world. Uncertainty and change are today's normal. If you find you're struggling, perhaps you have spiraling anxiety or you're angry or scared, please go to episode 135. It's a complete coaching session to help you. I go through ways to increase your ability to manage your mind and your thoughts, your inner traffic, to help you feel your emotions better, more deeply and into your humanity, and to help you use your emotions on purpose to fuel your actions. And why? So we can act for the world, we can show up for those around us, and we can respond to what's going on around us with kindness, empathy, and resilience. And that's for ourselves too. Let's be honest. What on earth is the point of coaching happy and successful if it's not about how to show up as the best version of ourselves at times like this in the world's history? And then from our last episode, quickly, how did you find the work-life conversation? What changed for you about the 8-8-8 division of your days, or how balanced your work, family, and personal life should be? When thinking about work-life balance, I'm always reminded of this English proverb from 1659. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And another from 1825, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and all play and no work makes Jack a mere toy. It's amazing how these old sayings rattle around in the brains of many of us, shaping how we view our lives today. And in honor of not being all work and no play this week, I've been listening to the sounds of Led Zeppelin, LL Cool J, Alicia Keys, Lady Gaga, and Bruce Springsteen. Quite a mix, I know. But that's just what our pasts are. A huge mashup of experiences, adopted belief systems, thoughts about ourselves that we've taken from others. And yes, this is exactly the type of thing we've been questioning for ourselves through Series 1. Where do our beliefs, our truths, our thoughts about our own happiness and success come from? We've looked to our upbringing, our families, to the media, to music, to our languages. And today I want us to look at how we're thinking about all these influences in combination, our pasts. Let's explore whether we're using our pasts to support our current happiness, or if we're using our pasts to hold ourselves back from happiness now, even to sabotage ourselves. The happiness and success of our future selves. Are we even using our pasts against ourselves? In episode 1.2, yes, so right at the beginning, your happiness snakes and ladders journey, I introduced you to a unique tool I use with many of my clients right at the start of a coaching journey, my snakes and ladders game of your life. And I want to revisit this in light of the conversation today. how you're using your past to influence your happiness and success right now in midlife. If you don't already have the game board I created for you and the 5 steps to play the game, please download it from our website, Happiness-Matters.coach, from the fun and free section of the site or from the show notes in this episode. Now, we first use the tool to create a picture of your life to date, a snapshot of your life so far. And we did this by playing snakes and ladders with all the milestones and key influences of your life so far. And if you're listening in from North America, you might well know the game as chutes and ladders. If you really hate snakes, like a few of my clients do, and find it hard to envision snakes with any kind of playfulness, then you can play the American version, or even the SpongeBob SquarePants version that's called Eels and Escalators. If you think eels are better than snakes. The game board of checkered squares is your life, and it tracks your life step by step. Along the way, you experience snakes and ladders. Ladders are the positive things, the things that have taken you further in life and moved you forward. And the snakes are the things that have been negative in your life and have moved you backwards. So if I was playing the game of my life's happiness, I'd say that ladders would include building my dream home, getting married again, meeting the Dalai Lama. Some snakes might be my divorce, the unexpected death of my dog Lupin during lockdown, and a lost childhood friendship that I now regret. The coaching here involves plotting your whole history onto the game board. What have been the highlights of your life so far, the positive things, the ladders, and what have been the low moments of your life so far, the negative things, the snakes? Do you get the idea? To get started quickly, you can choose the top 5 and the bottom 5 milestones or moments of your life, and this will give you a good idea of how this tool and today's coaching can move your happiness and success forward. The tool gives you an overall picture, a map of your whole life as a happiness journey, with all the milestones of your life mapped out, a wonderful way to look at your life as a whole and the journey of adventure that it's been already. By taking a walk like this through your past and creating the snapshot of how you're viewing it today, how you're defining the milestones, the people, the memories, we're able here to uncover 3 key things about you that can help with your self-coaching. You can uncover your beliefs about happiness and success. You can uncover the collection of thoughts that you have about your life and how well you've lived your life so far. And you can uncover your inner belief system about yourself. Now, it is important that you see it as a snapshot, a picture of how you're viewing your past today, your life's journey so far. So it's a current image that you're holding right now. And I want to offer you 3 insights that might shift this current image once you've finished listening and run through the self-coaching exercises. This coaching perspective from me might help loosen up this image. It's possible that these 3 insights might change how you define, assess, and vision your happiness no matter what. They could change your happiness level right now. They could change how you define your version of happiness, your happiness success formula going forward into your midlife. As Lady Gaga says, it's sort of like my past is an unfinished painting, and as the artist of that painting, I must fill in all the ugly holes and make it beautiful again. To follow along with me, you might like to use an event from your own past. I'll be using divorce and retrenchments as examples for us later on. So the first insight, Your past is now only a collection of thoughts. Your past is over. It no longer exists. The event took place and it ended. It's past. The only way this event in your past exists at all now is in your thoughts about it right now. So, your past now only exists in your mind. Isn't this an extraordinary way to think about your past? It seems so true. I mean, our past is our past, our history. It's a thing, independent of us, Julia. It's the truth. It actually happened. And yes, the event happened. That's a fact. But now, today, there are only the thoughts you're thinking today. The best way to understand this is if we take an event that's happened in your past and see how many different opinions there are about it. And remember, opinions are thoughts. If you've been divorced, there's your view of what happened, and there's your ex's view. If you were retrenched, there's your view, there's HR's view, and there's your line manager's view. All different thoughts about the same event in your past. But actually, all you have right now in this moment are the thoughts you are thinking. This event, this milestone, is a ladder. This one is a snake. This collection of thoughts has become your story of your past. Remember, if you're thinking about your past, that's not your past. It's your thinking, your current thinking today. Then insight 2. Your past is no longer hurting you. Only you are hurting yourself in the present. Following on from this, your past doesn't affect you in any way. It can't. The event took place and it ended. However, your thoughts about your past do affect you. The thoughts you are having right now are affecting you deeply in this moment. Something painful happened to you in your past. It is over. The event is over. The pain that continues is the pain you are creating in your mind with your thoughts when you think about it. What you are making those events mean, and especially what you're making them mean about you. These thoughts we're thinking right now will be creating all your emotional suffering that you might be feeling about your past. And before you get mad with me, there are exceptions for sure. Things like deep loss, physical trauma, and post-traumatic stress. Another level of healing is needed before we can do this thought work, and it's where traditional psychology, trauma release, and forgiveness therapy is most appropriate over coaching. You can go back to that time, revisit it, and begin to heal from that level. Here, I'm talking about the way we're choosing to narrate our lives today, how we're choosing to tell the story of our lives. Is it recreating our pain over and over again in our lives today? Is it fueling ongoing sadness, bitterness, anger, regret, loss? And are these feelings serving you today? That's the key question. And then insight 3, another whammy. Your past is yours. How do you want to use it to fuel your life, your future? So knowing these two things, that your past exists only as a collection of thoughts in your brain, and that it's your painful thoughts about your past that are creating emotional pain and suffering in your life right now, well, what next? First of all, the past is all yours. It belongs to you. No one else can change it or touch it. No one else except for you, and all the thoughts you have about that milestone belong to you. You get to decide what you're going to make your past mean in your life now. You cannot change what happened to you that hurt you. You cannot change what you did and hurt others. But you get to choose what it means to you now, and you get to choose what it means about you. And you do this with your mind, with the collection of thoughts you have about your past. Then, since the past is all yours, how do you want to use it? You get to decide what you're going to make your past mean in your life now. You get to choose the story of your life and tell it exactly the way it best serves you now and for the results you want in the future. So this milestone was a snake in your life. How do you turn this snake into a ladder? Don't make the mistake of carrying around a painful, heavy, sad, regretful story about your past. It is not going to serve you to create the future you want. Remember, we buffer away our negative feelings of sadness and anger. We hide from our shame. We judge ourselves. Doing this stops our personal growth in its tracks. If we want to evolve ourselves and live into the best version of ourselves, we have to get to the source of these negative feelings, our thoughts, and we have to examine our thinking. What can you learn from what you did, what others did, and now what are you making it mean? Especially, what are you making it mean about you? Your story about your past is completely up to you. Let's look at the two examples I've mentioned, divorce and retrenchment. By the time we get to midlife, most of us have experienced at least one of them. We'll run one of these through my 3 steps to turn your past around, self-coaching. As you know, I've been divorced, and I coach wonderful women every week through both these issues, either living through currently or as powerful ghosts in their pasts. Remember, today in this podcast, we're looking at divorce and retrenchment as part of our pasts. We'd coach differently if you're in the midst of divorce or retrenchment. So both of these are pretty big milestones in anyone's life. The breakup of a marriage comes with a lot of spiraling thoughts about ourselves and our exes, and a lot of painful emotions. We have sadness, anger, fury, bitterness, regret, terror, and retrenchment comes with the same: regret, shame, embarrassment, anger, powerlessness. And both of them come with a ton of self-judgment, don't they? I should have done this. I should never have done that. These thoughts, judgments, and painful feelings can last long after the actual event, can't they? Years and years. So let's apply these 3 insights. Your past is now only a collection of thoughts, and your past is no longer hurting you. Only you are hurting yourself in the present, and your past is yours. How do you want to use it to fuel your future? When looking back at your retrenchment, perhaps it came unexpectedly. It was a shock. You believed you were doing a good job. You even received a bonus recently. And the next thing you knew, you'd been called into your boss's office, HR was there, and they delivered the news that your role was one that was being cut. You walked away feeling absolute shock, which over the next few weeks moved from numbness to anger to anxiety about money to embarrassment at the office coffee machine to shame when you went for your first interview after the retrenchment. Perhaps even now, you look at that time with bitterness or awkwardness. You might see it as having fundamentally harmed your career. It's a real snake on your Snakes and Ladders Gameboard today. So step 1, decide what to keep and what must go. You can decide what parts of your past you want to bring into your future, and you get to leave behind anything you don't want to bring with you. So you can release it forever and move on. It's no longer part of your story. It's done. It truly can be this easy. LL Cool J tells us, you can't let your past hold your future hostage. Now listen, if you find that you're still thinking about it, if the negative emotions have not released, if you're continuing to buffer your negative emotions away, then do ask yourself why. Be very curious why this snake milestone is still occupying space in your mind. When you find your brain still turning to these thoughts, it usually means you haven't yet unpacked all the thoughts that are creating emotional pain for you. Persistent negative thoughts about your past can show you where there is more work to do. You might well be deluding yourself about your role in what happened, and you're actually feeling regret or shame. Sometimes it can be simple. Just clearly seeing your thinking, putting the spotlight on it, is enough to let them go. Some of us carry old stories about ourselves as weak or pathetic, and when we look at them directly, we're able to just turn away from the old thought pattern. Asking yourself why when you're still thinking so negatively about the retrenchment, the divorce, will tell you if you need something more to heal and move on. Perhaps it is facing up to the truth of your actions, the truth of your divorce, what you did to your ex. There's usually shame involved here, often masked by anger. Perhaps it's facing up to the truth of your retrenchment. What was your role in it? There's usually justification and defensiveness involved here, masking regret. If you go back to episode 1.19, you can use an easy coaching tool called the Thought Download to help you unpack what's really going on. You can go through the whole mini coaching journey for your negative emotions that will really help you feel your feelings and explore what is going on. It's here in this podcast, starting at episode 1.17. Then step 2, change the story of your past. Now, until you're really good at thought work and managing your brain, this might seem impossible. Right now, it might even look like positive thinking whitewashing of the negative parts of your life. So step 2 might be more suitable for you. Take all your snakes, all your something went wrong in my life stories, or anywhere in your life where you feel regret, shame, bitterness, where you're saying, I should have. Now ask yourself, what if these snakes were ladders? How can I turn these snakes into ladders in the story of my life? What did these teach me? What did I learn about myself? What if it all happened exactly as it was supposed to? What good can be found in the difficult? What if your past was just lessons to learn, experience and wisdom to gain, and skills to build for your future? What if your past set you up to be the wise and experienced person you are today? As Robert Plant says, and he's the lead singer in Led Zeppelin, the past is a stepping stone, not a millstone. Retell your story. Create a story that's not about good versus bad, but a story of you, your ongoing learning and growth. Rewrite your story, the story as your evolution, until you feel acceptance, forgiveness, resolve, strength, gratitude, and determination. Somebody who can reckon with the past, who can live with the past in the present and move towards the future, that's fabulous. And that's Bruce Springsteen. And step 3, create a future power statement. Now it's time to get excited about your future, and it's time to put your past to work for your future happiness and success. You've got to love what's yours, says Alicia Keys. See if you can sum up your past into one sentence that really serves you. Just one line that results in you feeling strong, at peace, inspired. It's a great exercise that summarizes all the coaching you've been doing here, all the thought work, and all the negative emotions work. Here are some examples from my clients. It made me everything I am today. It's made me into the strong, powerful woman I am today. It's taught me everything I know about how to live my best life. If you want to coach with me individually, if you're wanting to deepen the coaching we're doing here, you want to review your past so it sets you up for midlife success and happiness, please go to Happiness-Matters.coach and book a free insight coaching session with me. That's it for this week. A look at how you're using your past in your definition of happiness and success. Is it serving you? Is it fueling you into the future? Or is it a huge boulder that you're swimming through the sea of your life with? Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to hear how you're using the Snakes and Ladders Gameboard along with these insights and the various coaching tools. Pop me a note on Happiness-Matters.coach or find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn under Happiness-Matters.coach and also on YouTube. I have a playlist there for you called Music from the Podcast, so you can also hear my favorite songs from today's musicians. Next week, I'm going to do another deep dive into a happiness skill I've introduced before, but I want you to be really practiced at it before we moved on. We're looking at 8 ways to measure and assess our happiness and success. And until then, may you be happy. May you be free. There is no better time to do this coaching together. Bye for now. Keep well and keep safe.
Thanks for joining us on this Happiness Matters podcast. Do join us again here next week on Tuesday. You can subscribe to this series at Apple Podcasts on iTunes, or you can sign up for it on our website, Happiness-Matters.coach. That's Happiness-Matters.coach. COACH. Also, you can join our conversation on Facebook by following us there. Our Facebook page is also Happiness-Matters.coach.